want to talk about where the money resides. That's what I titled this video, and kind of want to pick up from where I left off yesterday. Yesterday I told you that I did a podcast episode, did a recap, talking about the $1 billion takeover. And although this live, I'm not primarily talking about credit cards and Capital One and the Discover financial acquisition, but I do want to talk about one of the main things that I discussed in that last video. But before I do that, just in case you all are not familiar with me, like I said, my name is Lorillia. If you found me on on YouTube, I currently on my channel have over 800 videos on the topic of creative financing, which I consider credit, personal credit, business credit, different forms of financing when it comes to lending, and of course, private capital. And I also discuss how those things relate to real estate. So, always want to give individuals a kind of backstory of who I am if you're not familiar with me. But as I was saying, the last video I did, I have a commitment for the next 30 days to come on here live. And I'm going to be talking about an area of financing and real estate that is not talked about a lot. And that has to do with private capital. Now, with my clients, there's a framework that I teach when it comes to funding. And so it's a funding framework. And part of that funding framework talks about the different possibilities that one has the ability as a real estate investor to tap into to be able to expand their portfolio. And for my clients, I always say the creme de la creme, you know, is the ability to tap into private capital. Um, and what do I mean by private capital? I'm not talking about hard money lenders. I'm talking about individuals who are considered private lenders who want to lend on your deals. And so for the next 30 days, my goal is to really expand on that topic. I may do a deeper dive when it comes to my podcast. Normally, I do my podcast on Mondays. I do them every other week. So that's pretty much, I do them twice a month. And sometimes I do it 3 times a month. But other than that, I want to show up here on YouTube doing these lives, having many conversations about that particular topic, to kind of go deeper into what I was talking about on the podcast. So in my last podcast episode, doing where I talked about the $1 billion takeover with Capital One and Discover Financial, I talked about that the biggest takeaway that Capital One wants to get access to with Discover Financial is the data. And data is very important, especially in this day and time. We live in a time and place of AI, artificial intelligence, and whether you know this or not, all these social media sites, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever is your choice platform, these social media platforms are all data aggregators. And you may not know this, but these data aggregators, which is also with you Googling on websites, what have you, what they do is they gather information to be able to learn more about you than you do yourself. And one may say, well, really, what does that have to do with private lending? Because remember, I said for the next 30 days, I'm showing up here live on YouTube to talk about that particular topic. Well, if you are a real estate investor and your goal is to tap into how you can get private lenders to fund on your deals, you have to be like these social media platforms. You have to be a data aggregator. You have to be able to get data. And that is what I want to talk about tonight. And I'm going to talk more about it. So, of course, I'm not going to, dump everything about private lenders and getting them to invest in your deals all tonight. But I do want to talk about your ability to be able to be a data aggregator, to be able to get access to lenders who do want to lend to you. Now, I don't want to tell you this from a standpoint of being salacious, or to trick you into thinking that there is this secret way for you to get a lot of money. That's not what that is not my intention. My intention is that if you're a real estate investor who is doing deals, investing, whatever that may be, eventually you are going to get to a point where access to capital is going to be not as easy. I mean, currently, right now, we see that in this real estate climate. You have lenders now, whereas 2 years ago or a year ago may not have been as what's the word for it? The due diligence or the amount of documentation that they needed to be able to fund your deals may not have been so stringent. But now, like I said, the rules are changing. I mean, interest rates have went up. And so what do you do as a real estate investor when things get into a crunch? Well, I would hope you're not going to sit on the sideline and just, wait for this to be over. I don't know what age you are, but I'm over the age of 50. So what that means is I've been through other economic cycles. And what I want to tell you is that there are still ways for you to get traction. You just got to kind of change how you've did things in the past. And that is why I said you have to be a data aggregator. You have to look at what it is that you do in real estate, how you make a profit, how your business gets a return on the investment, how another person can get a return on investment, hence the person who may want to invest in your deals, and really understand your numbers. Because this is the problem. A lot of people think getting access to private lenders is really difficult. And like I said, I'm not talking about hard money lenders. I'm talking about lenders who have maybe a self-directed IRA. They may have money on the side in retirement. They may have money in their business that they are looking to lend out to get some type of return on their money. Regardless of how bad the economy is, there's always going to be a subsection of people that are doing very well. Once again, being a data aggregator, you have to know that. You have to know that there are no shortages of income. Once again, that's what my last podcast talked about, the $1 billion takeover. If there was a shortage of money, Capital One wouldn't be looking to buy Discover Financial. So that's why I even tell clients, stay focused. Stay focused. Do not lose traction. There's no run on the bank. Money's not drying up. But what is drying up is the amount of people who have left certain industries. Once again, during the pandemic, you had people who were hustling funding, business credit, personal credit, telling you you're going to be a millionaire overnight. Many of those people are really no longer around, and they're going to eventually phase out. They may be around, but they're talking about something different. The same way with real estate. You've had, gurus and experts who are online telling you how you could be a millionaire overnight with real estate. That's all you have to do. That was the common theme that was going on during the pandemic. And once again, most of those people have kind of phased out. They're on to doing something else. But going back to the topic at hand about where the money resides, it resides in you looking to work with private lenders. Like I said, part of my funding framework, the highest level is private lenders. But one may ask, well, Lorillia, how can I find them? That is the whole purpose of this video. Being a data aggregator, if you do not have relationships, because I do believe that private lenders, they're going to be categorized in different categories. You're going to have your warm relationships, because if you're a real estate investor who's doing deals, you're clearly in a community where you know other real estate investors, whether they may be a hard money lender or maybe they may be an investor who has access to cash flow, but they're not looking to directly invest in real estate themselves, but maybe they're looking to get their money to put their money to work. There's a lot of creative ways where you may have warm relationships when it comes to private lending, but you also are going to have private lenders that you do not know. You don't know them. But with you being a data aggregator, what I'm going to tell you tonight, and that is the whole point of this whole video, is that those individuals are right at the county courthouse. Now, depending on where you live at, you getting access to that information could come in the form of you going right to your computer. I know for me here in the state of New Jersey, I can go right on to my computer and find all the private investors who have lend on deals. I'll be going more into that in my next podcast episode. So in that podcast episode, I'm going to literally show you how you can go to the county courthouse and get as many as you want of private investors who have lend on deals. So if they've lend on one deal, they'll lend on another. Because remember I said, it doesn't matter how bad the economy is doing, there's always going to be a subset of people who are going to have access to cash flow, whether it's in a retirement account, whether it's in their business, whether it's in their business account, who are looking to put that money to work. And so if you can really communicate, if you're asked, I like to tell clients, is that it's not that you can't find private investors, because you can get any book out there. You go right on Amazon and you just put in how to raise capital, how to find private investors, raising capital, private investors, private lending, any of those terms, any of that terminology, you can find a book on it. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm giving you information that's not accessible on your fingertips. But what I do want to tell you is that how you get success with doing it is being a data aggregator. You got to know where you can get the information. You got to know how you can communicate with those individuals. And then once you know how to communicate, you know where they at. You know how to communicate with them. Now you need to also be able to communicate, goes to your ask, how you can let a private lender, a private real estate investor, how you can tell them how what it is that you do can give them a return on their money. Remember, I said most people have a problem with the ask. And so that is where I see a lot of people really lose their footing, is their ask. And the way that you get around or strengthening your ask, making your ask be interesting or at least worth a conversation to a private lender, is that you need to know something about your deal. See, the thing is that most people are looking for a windfall of money. That's why I titled this video, Where the Money Resides. So most people are just looking like, well, where can I find a whole bunch of money? Where is a whole bunch of money at? I want to invest in real estate, but I just need money. And I tell people, there's no shortage of money. There's no shortage. I just did a video. And I talked about how Capital One is looking to acquire Discover Financial for $35 billion. I may have said million before, but $35 billion, which with Capital One total assets, along with Discover, that would make that company over 200 plus billion, which is going to be more assets than JP Morgan. So clearly we know there's no run on the bank. Like it's nothing dried up. We saw the government give out billions of dollars during the pandemic. I don't know where you live, but in most major cities, things are still moving. Infrastructure is still being built. Real estate is still moving. So why do people still believe in the rhetoric of, I need money? As if it's hiding. See, it's only hiding from the individuals who really have not put in the work. And when I say the work, I'm not talking about you bought the real estate courses, you're paying a real estate expert. I'm talking about you actually putting and doing the work to get some type of success in real estate. Whatever it is that you do, whether it's buying mobile homes, fixing and flipping, wholesaling, whatever it is that you do, there's always a way where if you know how to communicate what it is that you do to a person who has access to capital, there's always somebody who's willing to lend to you. But the missing piece is that most people have never did it for themselves. They've never did it. They're looking to gamble with somebody's money. And that's why I always say, nobody is going to just lend you money and let you play Monopoly with their money when you haven't even played Monopoly. Most people won't even bet on themselves. That's why with my funding framework, when I talk about the funding capital stack, the lowest level is the level that allows you to take a risk on you. You have to take a risk on you. Then once you take the risk on you, you get some feedback. You get some data in your own deal, what you did right, what you did wrong. Did you make money? Did you not make money? Getting yourself some experience. Then you can move up the food chain. But that is the reason why most people have a problem with where are the private money lenders, because they're so focusing on how to get money. They believe in their head there is a funding shortage. And so they get lured by people telling them that there's a shortage on money. So now what happens is that they fall for very salacious tactics that's going to help you get a whole bunch of money with no risk and no reward. So that's why I titled this video, Where the Money Resides. The money resides within you. Why does the money reside within you? Because one thing that I always say, if you have a problem getting access to any type of capital to do whatever real estate deal that you're trying to do, it is not a problem with looking for the money. The problem relies in stewardship. Have you been a good steward with your own capital? See, that's not a popular topic because it's really easy to go around and start pointing fingers on what a person didn't do for you, what they promised you, or what have you. That's an easy thing to do. But what is hard is a person taking accountability and saying, let me invest in me. Let me play Monopoly on myself before I go out there in the marketplace. So that's why I said, I literally told you, where can you find private investors? Where can you raise capital? You can go right to your county courthouse. In the county courthouse, they will give you, like I said, depending on where you live in the country, they may even give you a list. You may physically can literally go there and get a list of investors who have invested. I know here in New Jersey, and I said on my next podcast episode, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you how you could physically just literally go right in the county courthouse and just get the names of private lenders who have invested with individuals who've actually lent them money. So I'm already at 20 minutes into this video. Like I said, my goal is to come here every day for the next 30 days, giving more insight, giving more information about where the money resides, talking about raising private capital, talking about different funding strategies, different creative financing strategies that can help you be able to expand your real estate portfolio. So once again, like I said, I plan to tune in for the next 30 days. It's been a minute since I did this. If anybody has, previously looked at my content, like I said, making 800 videos has been made over a period of years. So there was a time and place where I literally did show up on YouTube every day, but I'm looking to build that muscle again because it's been a while since I did it. And I always have so much to share because, unlike certain people, I do this for a living. I'm always transparent enough to show my own results just so people can see, yes, I really do this. No, I didn't buy somebody's course or listen to somebody on YouTube and then want to kind of, rehash their information. I really do this. So, if you want to learn more about me, you're always welcome to look at my last podcast episode. Like I said, the name of that title was the $1 billion takeover. I talk about what I just mentioned in this podcast about Capital One and the Discover Financial merger, or should I say acquisition. And then I talk about some of those data strategies that Capital One is trying to do. And if you can take the strategies that Capital One is doing, because like I said, we live in a time and place with AI and artificial intelligence. It's all about gathering data. That's really the name of the game. It's not about getting, they're not doing it for income. I mean, of course, that is an income stream that, of course, they're looking at, but that's not the main thing. So if you can apply what it is that they're doing to your business, especially in the realm of what I just talked about today, raising private capital, looking for private lenders, there is always going to be an unlimited source of capital that you can get for your business, because that's what a lot of people do not even realize. Don't buy into the hype where things are limited. Like I said, that may be the case for certain loan, investing products or what have you, or financing products, but that doesn't mean that's the case for everything. Because like I said in my podcast, Never Lose a Deal, I focus a lot on creative financing. And that is my goal for the next 30 days, to talk about more about creative financing, talk more about real estate. And so to learn more about me, you can find it here on my YouTube channel, because I'm specifically doing these lives just for YouTube. I'm not doing them on Facebook. You won't find me on Instagram. They won't be on TikTok, even though I'm on all those platforms. But right here, this particular live content is only for my YouTube subscribers and any of those who have, if you're the first time you are finding me. So like I said, don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment, look at some of my past videos to see what I'm about if I am new to you, and I will see you tomorrow. Until the next video. Bye-bye.